Yeah, I think so. I mean, what Burnley need now is someone who's been there and done it in the Championship, a bit like Sean Dyche. But what they did get under Michael Jackson, and he deserves some credit. He walked in there, never managing at that level before, and the bounce was 10 points in 4 games. And that 10 points in 4 games gave him the platform to even be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Because at one point, Leeds and Everton weren't in it. We thought Burnley were done. So he gave them that opportunity. Him and the team had a bounce. And that was some 10 days they had, or 2 weeks.
Well, that's right. I mean, Dyche had 4 wins in 30, Jackson had 3 and 8.
Look, you can hypothesise about what might have happened if Sean had stayed in charge. We know what a wonderful job he's done. I'm a big fan of Sean Dyche. But my gut feeling is that the way they were playing and the lack of confidence they had, making the change was worth the risk, but it didn't pay off. I'm not convinced that Burnley side would have stayed up even if Dyche should have stayed. I'm really not.
No, fair enough. Simon,
I'm not sure that's right. I'm not just being a contrarian. I thought that they beat Everton in a game that was incredibly.
Either way, you mean? They'd have beaten whoever was in charge.
Well, they beat Everton under Sean Dyche.
Right.
And then they went away to Norwich and they battered Norwich and they somehow came out of that game, losing that game. And that's where the change was made there and afterwards, because everyone expected them to build after we all thought if you win this Norwich game away, which you should do because they're rubbish, then you build a momentum. And I don't think that at the business end of the season, taking 1 point from the last 4 games, I think it's dreadfully unfair that they got 2 fixtures against the same team in a space of time because of the way that the fixtures fell out. And I've always thought that was going to be a disadvantage to them. But taking 1 point from the last 4 games is what's done for them. Now, Danny will make the case that the bounce would have not been there with Sean, so they'd have been in the same position. I'm not sure that's right. I think if the Burnley owners had gotten to stay up this season, they would have been the luckiest people on the planet to have achieved that, because everybody felt that Sean Dyche is the adhesive that held Burnley together. Now, something's gone on that we're not privy to, because you don't give a guy a new contract at the beginning of the season, universally accept that he's the glue of the football club, and then take him out at the time when most times Sean Dyche comes to the fore.
I wouldn't have took him out. I wasn't suggesting
I wouldn't have taken him out either.
No, I wouldn't.
And I think if they'd have gotten to survive, it would have looked like the most inspired and, in my view, fortuitous decision that any set of owners have ever made.
So you wouldn't have taken him out because it was the wrong time to do it?
Unless there's something that we're not really privy to, unless there's been a huge hullabaloo between Sean Dyche and the owners, they've gone so far one way apart from the other that they can't manage the other situation.
Well, you've been quite outspoken about the owners. Where does it leave them financially now, 15 months into the new ownership?
Well, it leaves them having to do, tragically, what all us owners have to do, is probably put their hand in their own pockets and having to bridge the gap. If you look at the situation with Burnley, before they bought that football club, they had 42 million quid in the bank. They had a Category 1 academy. They had Sean Dyche. They had Premier League football. Now they're £102 million in debt. Their academy's been downgraded. They've got to pay £65 million loan back. They've got no permanent boss and they're in the Championship. How do you look at that as a success? I told you 18 months ago or a year ago, when this football club got bought by this leveraged purchase, that they're using everybody else's money. They're using Burnley's money. They're using Dell's money, i.e. the financing house, to be able to pay Mike Garlick and the existing shareholders out. And if this club get relegated, then there's going to be one of two things. Either a meltdown, or they're going to have a fire sale to be able to fund it, or they're going to have to go in their pockets. There seems to be no appetite to go in their pockets because they didn't go in their pockets when they bought the club. So you now got a situation where you fear for Burnley. I'm not saying they can't bounce back. We'll see the colour of the metal of these guys. They talked about artificial intelligence as their scouting regime and talked about how the American mentality is going to take us into the next generation of football. Wakey, wakey, boys. Here's the reality of big-time football.
Yeah.
You've bought a football club. You've paid 200 million quid for it. You've used everybody else's money. You sold Chris Wood in January, despite protestations. You've sold him on a basis of a release clause that I'm pretty sure didn't release until the summer because you were planning for the cost implications of what relegation looked like. And the rest of the squad probably are going to be casualties. Anything that's sellable, Dwight McNeil, anything that's sellable is going to go. I hope I'm wrong for Burnley fans. Burnley supporters do not deserve to get relegated. I feel no joy about their relegation.
Do the owners deserve to get in?
They deserve to get precisely what they've got. They didn't invest in the football club. They didn't invest when they bought it. They haven't invested during their course of ownership. And now they find themselves in a position where English football and all its beauty of what it costs to run a football club, what it costs to own it, and what the implications of it are all going to come to the fore. You wanted a football club like Burnley. You wanted to compare it to whatever football club they had in America. I forget what the comparison was. They owned a football club and they wanted to use that comparison of the outsiders overachieving. I forget. It comes to me in a second.
Okay,
build them back up again then with your own money.
All right, Leeds survived. Leeds legend Eddie Gray will join us in the studio very shortly. Mikey, I like that one. On pitch invasions, if you can't stop people invading the pitch, you can certainly stop them leaving the stadium. Get a hold of them before they leave. Be a bit like being on remand. And this is an interesting one. Sam, thanks for that. I'm a Tottenham fan. At full time, the players came over to us. Everyone was chanting songs about specific players. That was that was the way to do it. We enjoyed ourselves. It can be done.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.